It was a spark that ultimately created the Genesis Foundation. The great quote was coming from Janet Sussman. Over dinner, we were talking about the future of the arts and how can we go about trying to find more people to come from a broader cross-section of the population, broader demographics, broader social backgrounds, broader economic backgrounds, broader educational backgrounds. And then a couple of weeks later, when I was in Salzburg, I was talking about a composer I'd met, Roxana Panufnik, who was just really launching her career but didn't have many commissions. And I thought, how can I be helpful to this person? And then the following week, I discovered that Basil Hume was celebrating his 75th birthday. I looked and investigated when's the last time there was a mass written for Westminster Cathedral. So that was, if you will, that was the serendipitous series of events which led to the Westminster Mass. And then I subsequently thought, why don't we create a foundation model around this? And that was the genesis of Genesis.
John wanted someone to work alongside Roxana to get national press coverage for her and for the work. And I think John must have been pleased because after the event, he asked me if I would run the foundation that he was going to set up. But little did I realize that it would take me on a journey, a 25-year journey, and that he and I would still be here 25 years on, working closely together and with the same focus and drive.
Over time, we realized we had, and we still have 25 years later, extraordinary chemistry. I have enormous trust for Harriet. I can mention an idea. It's just like sprinkling fairy dust or sprinkling seeds in the garden, and Harriet will run with it and come back and say, I've thought about your idea, and here's what I think.
We have developed a shorthand in how we work. He seems to trust me. That's huge, and I certainly trust him. It is a remarkable and pleasurable experience working alongside John, and I think our track record will show that we are able to deliver.
Partnerships has been the bedrock, the foundation, and the ethos of what we've done over the last 25 years. At the end of the day, this is about people, one-to-one trust and relationships. It's about culture. It's about chemistry. It's about feeling like you're part of a community that is supportive. I believe that real philanthropy, real project-based philanthropy, is a partnership, and it has reciprocal benefits.
So we work with outstanding artistic directors, really good leaders, who are passionate about developing programs that identify, the new talent coming through, whether they're directors or playwrights or curators or singers. We have the wonderful 16, Genesis 16, and I have to say that partnership is nearly 20 years old, which is fairly extraordinary. That's the wonderful Harry Christophers. He and the 16 actually perform and record the majority of our music commissions, but equally they have their own program because Harry is passionate about training the next generation of young ensemble singer. So for 15, it might even be 16 years now, he's been running the Genesis 16 program for 18 to 23-year-old singers.
Harry is someone who is always glasses half full, always constructive. And we've done some great things. We've now commissioned over 35 pieces of sacred music, which for me is important because it has a strong evangelical purpose and function.
John Studzinski is passionate about the choral commissions because he's keen to find composers to give them opportunities to work alongside Harry and 16, but also to be mentored by James Macmillan. And the point of the program is to reinvigorate the choral music and keep the tradition alive, but bring good choral music into the repertoire.
I'm inspired by an idea. The Stabat Mater, it's probably one of the most theatrical moments in the history of faith. And I knew James Macmillan would do it justice because of his strong faith and his dramatic use of music. And it's a great testimony to James Macmillan and Harry Christophers. But when you put something in the Sistine Chapel, you elevate it to a higher level, but then it has to breathe, and it has to live, and it has to thrive. And it did all of that. It was great. It was extraordinary.
And I can't believe that here we are, 8 years on, being given another opportunity for the 16 in Britain Sinfonia to present the world premiere of James Macmillan's new Genesis commission, Angels Unawares, in the same setting. We run a writers' programme with the Almeida Theatre. Rupert has done such extraordinary things at the Almeida. His style, his panache, his vision, his creativity, he just is fantastic. He said that he wanted to encourage writers to write big plays with big ideas for the main stage. I have to say, I didn't expect the results to come through quite so quickly. The programme has only been running 5 years, and in that time, he's had, the wonderful Ava Pickett, her play 1536 was a Genesis play. And who would have thought that not only did that play make it to the stage at the Almeida, but she won the Susan Blackburn Prize for it. And now it's headed to the West End. It's extraordinary. Bravo, Ava, fantastic. We have a music theatre programme with the National Theatre, and we have returned to the Royal Court to help them reinvigorate their writers' activity and commissioning work that they're doing there. Then we have curatorial partners. We work with the Royal Academy of Arts, and we now work with the William Morris Gallery. We also support the Jewish Literary Foundation. Again, we have a writers' programme there. The Genesis Theatre Design Programme is the passion of Ulz. And it's a wonderful programme because it's run by Ulz and Sedisha, but it's backed by the National Theatre, it's backed by Mulberry Technical College.
Where else can you get this experience? Where else can they get an experience of direct mentoring and being taught by Harry Christophers, David Lan, Rupert Gould, now David Byrne, Rebecca Salter? These are people who many young people would never get access to. And this is the role we play. This is the niche we occupy. And that's why when you look at where people go and their career paths, many of them are on very good trajectories because of these early experiences.
But it is fantastic. Over 25 years, we have so many cases of artists that we have engaged with and supported that we still keep in touch with. And it is an incredible delight. You never know, when you turn up at the theatre or you go to an art show or where a Genesis alum is going to pop up, because they pop up everywhere. And it's always a pleasure to see them and to hear how they're getting on. And that's what Genesis support is all about.